to find a fraction of a quantity. First, we'll look at fractions with a 1 on top, like half, a third, or a quarter. To find fractions like this is fairly easy. Here are 10 coloured sweets. Half of them are red. 5 red sweets. To find half of something, you just divide the something by 2. So half of £40 is £20. Or a half of 50 kilograms, 50 kilograms divided by 2 is 25 kilograms. Note that to indicate dividing, you can either use the conventional dividing sign, 50 divided by 2, or you can show it as a fraction, 50 over 2. To find a third of something, you divide by 3. So a third of £9 is £3. Or with length, a third of 6 metres is 2 metres. This rule applies for all fractions with a 1 on the top, called unitary fractions. You just divide by the number at the bottom. This can be very useful in shops having a sale. For example, a kettle costs £24, but is advertised with a third off. To find a third of 24, divide by 3 and you get £8 off. So the £24 kettle is only £16 in the sale. Here's another example. If 3 friends want to share equally a cafe bill for £27, they must first find out what is a third of 27. Divide 27 by 3, which gives you £9, so that's what they each must pay. By the way, you need to know that in maths you represent the word of by a times sign. So the last 2 examples can be written 1/3 of £24 is £8. 1/3 of £27 is £9. If a fraction does not have a 1 at the top, the problem is solved in 2 stages. The first stage is what we've been talking about so far in this video, dividing by the number at the bottom of the fraction, the denominator. Let's look at finding 3/4 of £80. So first, you divide £80 by 4, which is £20. £20 is a quarter of £80. The top number, 3, tells you how many of these quarters you're choosing. 3 times £20 is £60. So 3/4 of £80 is £60. The simple rule is to divide by the number at the bottom of the fraction, the denominator, and then multiply the answer by the number at the top of the fraction, the numerator. Here's another example to show you how to do this. Suppose you need to find 3/5 of 20 metres. First, you do the division. Divide 20 by 5 to get the length of 1/5, which is 4 metres. Then you multiply that fifth by 3 to get 3/5, which is 12 metres. So 3/5 of 20 metres is 12 metres. Let's do one now with decimals. You just do the same thing. Find 2/5 of 10.5 litres. First, divide 10.5 by 5 to get a fifth. That is 2.1 litres. And now you multiply that 2.1 by 2 to get 2/5. So the answer is 4.2 litres.